Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive, where we dig into some really interesting sources. And today we're going to be looking at a totally unique approach to gardening.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from a pretty unexpected place,
Oh, yeah.
a software developer's blog.
Very cool.
So
Yeah.
qianmeng.org is the blog, and the author is Ang. And he kind of combines his, tech background with his passion for gardening,
Yeah.
which leads to some pretty fascinating insights.
Yeah, his perspective is really unique.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
So in this particular post, it's called Notes on Gardening, Part 403.
Okay.
He details this layered seedling or potting mix.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of caught our eye, and we thought it would be something that you, our listeners,
Right.
would find interesting.
Definitely.
And it's not just dude.
Right.
It's a whole system, and reveals a very systematic approach to problem solving.
Absolutely. It's all about breaking down the problem and finding the most elegant solution. And he even talks about working with limited resources like time, effort, money, you know.
Yeah.
Those are things that every gardener has to deal with.
For sure. For sure.
So it's really practical too.
Yeah. So let's break down this potting mix. So he starts with a layer of coconut husks,
Okay.
and it fills about 1/3 of the pot.
Interesting.
So not your typical starting point.
No, not at all. Usually you think of you're potting soil or something, but
Right.
coconut husks, that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They're great for drainage, which
Yeah.
is, crucial. You don't want your roots to be sitting in water.
Right.
And they also add a lot of air to the mix. So
Like aeration.
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about creating that optimal growing environment.
Right. And so it's like he's choosing these materials not just because they're available,
Right.
but because they have a very specific purpose.
Exactly. He's thinking about the properties of the materials and how they contribute to the overall health of the plants.
Right. And I think there's another clever aspect to this choice.
What's that?
So coconut husks are relatively inexpensive.
Oh, yeah, especially compared to some of the fancy potting mixes out there.
Exactly. And so he's basically maximizing his resources
Right.
while keeping costs down.
Yeah, it's like he's optimizing his garden for efficiency,
Yeah.
just like you would optimize code,
Yeah, like a programmer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So on top of the coconut husks,
Okay.
there's this optional layer.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So recycled peanut shells
Wow.
or sunflower seed husks.
That's really resourceful.
Yeah, and I have to admit I was surprised by this one.
Yeah, me too. You don't see that every day.
No.
But it's brilliant when you think about it.
So what is the purpose of that layer?
So it adds even more porosity to the mix, even more air and drainage.
Okay.
But what's really cool is that as those materials break down, they release nutrients slowly. So it's like a built-in slow release fertilizer.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, it's really thinking ahead.
Yeah, so he's not only creating the right environment for the plants,
Right.
he's also thinking about how to feed them over time.
Exactly. It's a long-term solution.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, what comes next?
So the next layer is recycled potting mix.
Oh, okay.
He's a big advocate for reusing the soil from older pots or seedling trays,
Yeah,
reducing waste and, being more sustainable.
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's practical and it's good for the environment.
And it's probably saving him some money, too.
Oh, definitely. Potting mix can get expensive,
Yeah,
especially if you're buying the good stuff.
right, exactly. So it's a reminder that gardening doesn't have to be
Right.
this big, expensive hobby.
No, you can definitely do it on a budget.
Yeah.
You just got to be resourceful.
Yeah, for sure. And then the final layer, the topsoil, he recommends either fine coir or peat moss.
Yeah, those are both good options.
Yeah. And I know they're both popular for providing moisture retention and drainage.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on
Sure.
the specific properties of each and why a gardener might choose one over the other.
So coir is becoming more and more popular these days.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's made from coconut husks.
Oh?
So it's a more sustainable and renewable resource
Wow.
than peat moss.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's often more readily available and less expensive.
So it's got a lot going for it.
It does, but peat moss has been the go-to for gardeners for a long time,
Yeah.
and for good reason. It holds moisture really well.
Right.
And it has a slightly acidic pH, which is ideal for certain types of plants like blueberries
Okay.
or rhododendrons.
Interesting.
But the downside is that harvesting peat moss can have a big environmental impact.
Oh.
So it's definitely something to consider.
So the choice between coir and peat moss can be a complex one.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And something else that really stood out to me in his post was his emphasis on streamlining his gardening process.
Yeah.
He talks about having limited resources,
Uh-huh.
time, effort, money.
Right.
And I think that resonates with a lot of people,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
including myself.
Absolutely.
So it's like he's found a way to garden smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And this approach seems to have like broader implications beyond just creating a potting mix.
I agree. It's about finding efficient and effective solutions
Right.
within limitations.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a valuable lesson, whether you have a sprawling backyard or a tiny balcony garden.
Absolutely.
So
It's about making the most of what you have.
Yeah.
And being creative.
right. And it seems like he's applied this like problem-solving mindset that you often associate with like software development to something as seemingly different as gardening.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes his approach so fascinating. There's a clear connection between the way he approaches gardening and like the principles of resource optimization and iterative design that are so common in software development.
Yeah.
You know, he's essentially applying those same principles to create a system that works for him and his garden.
That's fascinating.
It is, yeah.
So it suggests that like these problem-solving skills are transferable across disciplines.
Absolutely.
And that's something I think we can all learn from.
Definitely.
But before we delve deeper into that,
Okay.
let's take a closer look at some of the other aspects of Eng's layered potting mix.
Sounds good. Eng's approach is really fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, it challenges the way we usually think about gardening and shows how a little ingenuity can go a long way.
It really does. And what makes it so compelling is that it's not just about the specific materials like the coconut husks and peanut shells.
Right.
It's about the underlying principles,
Right.
resourcefulness, sustainability, problem solving.
Exactly. It's a mindset shift. It encourages us to think beyond the prepackaged solutions and be more creative with what we have available.
And that's a valuable lesson no matter what kind of space you have, whether it's a big backyard or a small balcony.
Absolutely. Gardening can be accessible to everyone.
Speaking of which, let's dive into some practical applications of Eng's principles.
Okay.
His use of recycled materials is a great example. We talked about the recycled potting mix, but what about those peanut shells and sunflower seed husks?
Yeah.
I have to admit I've never considered using those in my garden.
Well, as we discussed earlier, they add porosity to the mix, improving drainage and airflow.
Right.
But they also act as a slow-release fertilizer as they break down, providing essential nutrients over time.
It's like closing the loop, turning what we might consider waste into a valuable resource for the garden.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder what other everyday materials we could be repurposing.
Oh, absolutely. There are so many possibilities.
Like what?
Well, for instance, eggshells can be crushed and added to the soil as a natural calcium supplement.
So
Especially beneficial for tomatoes and other fruiting plants.
that's a classic tip. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, it's a good one. What else? Coffee grounds are another fantastic option.
Wow.
They're rich in nitrogen, which promotes leafy green growth.
Okay.
Just be sure to use them sparingly and mix them well into the soil.
Gotcha.
And don't forget about banana peels.
Oh, yeah. Those are good for potassium, right?
Exactly. They're packed with potassium, which is crucial for flower and fruit development. You can bury them near the roots of your plants or even make a banana peel tea to water your plants with.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and the possibilities go beyond just fertilizers. You could use shredded newspaper as mulch to suppress weeds and retain moisture.
Oh, yeah.
Or even old cardboard boxes to create raised beds. Or as a weed barrier when establishing a new garden.
That's a good idea. I've actually done that before.
It works great.
Yeah, this all sounds fantastic. But it also raises a question, how do we know which materials are safe and effective to use?
That's a great point. You don't want to just throw anything in there. Right, exactly.
It's always wise to do a little research before adding anything new to your garden.
Yeah. There are tons of resources available online and in gardening books.
Right?
Or you could consult with a local gardening expert or your local extension office.
So it's all about being informed and responsible.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to Eng's approach. He's not just randomly throwing things together.
Right.
He's carefully considering the properties of each material and how they will interact with each other and with his plants.
Absolutely. It's a very thoughtful process.
Yeah, and this is where the connection to software development becomes even more apparent.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about it. Software developers are constantly iterating, testing, and refining their code based on feedback and results.
Right.
And Eng is essentially applying that same iterative process to his garden.
That's a really interesting parallel.
Yeah, he's treating his garden as a living laboratory, constantly learning and adapting his methods.
I love that analogy.
And by documenting his experiments and sharing his findings on his blog, he's contributing to a collective body of knowledge that benefits other gardeners.
That's the beauty of the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
It allows us to share our knowledge and learn from each other.
Speaking of documentation, Ang mentions in his post that he started streamlining his gardening process due to limited resources, time, effort, and money.
A challenge many of us can relate to.
For sure. So how can we apply his principles to make our own gardening routines more efficient without sacrificing results?
Well, one key strategy is to prioritize, figure out which tasks are truly essential for your specific gardening goals.
Okay.
Focus on those and delegate or eliminate less crucial tasks.
This is about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Are there any other time-saving tips you can share?
Sure, consider investing in tools that can automate or simplify tasks.
Like what?
Well, for example, instead of hand watering every day, a drip irrigation system can save you a ton of time and ensure your plants get consistent moisture.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And tools like self-propelled mowers or garden carts can also make a big difference.
Those are great practical suggestions. And I think planning is also essential.
Oh, absolutely.
Taking the time to map out your garden, choose suitable plants for your climate and soil, and create a planting schedule can save you a lot of headaches down the road.
Couldn't agree more. A well-thought-out plan can prevent costly mistakes and wasted effort.
Exactly.
And remember, gardening doesn't have to be a solitary pursuit.
Right.
There are so many resources available, online gardening communities, local nurseries, where you can find advice, support, and even share your own experiences.
It's a great way to connect with others who share your passion.
Absolutely.
Now let's circle back to something we touched on earlier. Ang's use of coir as a more sustainable alternative to peat moss.
Okay.
Could you elaborate on the environmental implications of this choice?
Sure. So peat moss is a valuable natural resource that plays a crucial role in carbon sequestration. However, it's also a non-renewable resource that takes centuries to form. When peat moss is harvested for gardening, we're depleting this finite resource and contributing to the release of stored carbon into the atmosphere.
So opting for coir is a more environmentally conscious choice.
Precisely. And coir is an excellent alternative. It's readily available, often less expensive, and performs just as well in terms of moisture retention and drainage.
So it's a win-win for our gardens and the planet.
Exactly.
This discussion about sustainability raises a broader question. What are some other steps we can take to make our gardening practices more environmentally friendly?
One of the most impactful changes we can make is to reduce our reliance on chemical fertilizers and pesticides.
Okay.
These products can have detrimental effects on the environment and our health.
Right.
Instead, focus on building healthy soil through composting and employing natural pest control methods.
So it's about shifting our mindset from battling against nature to working in harmony with it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Healthy soil is the foundation of a thriving, resilient garden.
And I imagine that takes time to cultivate.
It does, but it's worth it.
Okay. Another important consideration is choosing plants that are well suited to your local climate and soil conditions.
Absolutely. Native plants are a fantastic option because they're already adapted to your region, requiring less water and maintenance.
And they support local pollinators and wildlife.
Exactly. It all contributes to a healthier ecosystem.
It's all interconnected.
It is. Our gardening choices have ripple effects beyond our own backyards.
Wow.
By embracing sustainable practices, we're making a positive impact on the environment as a whole.
It's about recognizing that we're part of a larger system
Right.
and acting responsibly within that system.
Exactly.
Now, I want to bring our discussion back to Ang's core philosophy, his problem-solving mindset.
Okay.
His layered potting mix is a testament to how we can use readily available materials to create innovative solutions.
It really is. He's thinking outside the box and challenging conventional wisdom.
And it sparks a question for our listeners.
Yeah.
What everyday materials could you repurpose to create your own innovative gardening solutions?
That's a great question. What's lurking in your recycling bin or pantry that could be transformed into a gardening gem?
Let your creativity run wild.
Explore, experiment, and see what you discover. You might just stumble upon the next big thing in sustainable gardening.
I love that.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what our listeners come up with.
Definitely share your ideas with us.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to highlight one more aspect of Ang's approach that we haven't explicitly discussed, but that is woven throughout his blog post.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What is it?
It's the importance of documentation.
Oh, yeah.
Ang meticulously documents his gardening experiments, from the materials he uses to the results he observes,
Right.
and he shares his findings openly on his blog, including both his successes and failures.
That's so important. Documentation is often overlooked, but it's crucial for learning and growth.
Yeah, by keeping track of our experiences, we gain insights, identify patterns, and make more informed decisions in the future.
Exactly. It's like turning our gardens into living laboratories.
And by sharing our findings, we contribute to a collective body of knowledge that benefits the entire gardening community.
Absolutely.
So whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, we encourage you to embrace the power of documentation.
Keep a gardening journal, take photos, track your successes and failures, and don't be afraid to share what you learn. You never know who you might inspire or what insights you might uncover along the way.
That's a great message to end on. But before we officially wrap things up, I want to pose one final thought-provoking question to our listeners.
Okay, shoot.
Ang's layered potting mix is a testament to the fact that innovation can arise from limitations.
Right. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we ask you, what constraints do you face in your own gardening endeavors?
And how can you turn those constraints into opportunities for creativity and ingenuity?
Embrace your limitations. Think outside the pot and see what innovative solutions you can come up with.
We can't wait to see what you create.
Now let's officially bring this deep dive to a close. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the practicalities of Ang's layered potting mix to the broader principles of sustainable and resourceful gardening.
It's been a fascinating discussion.
We hope you've enjoyed this exploration as much as we have.
And we hope you've gleaned some valuable knowledge and inspiration to apply to your own gardens.
Remember, gardening is a journey, not a destination.
So embrace the process, experiment, learn, and most importantly, have fun.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.
You know, we've been exploring this idea of gardening like a software developer. It's really fascinating.
It is.
And one thing that keeps coming up
Yeah.
is this theme of systems thinking.
Right. It's like he's not just looking at individual plants. He's looking at the whole garden as a system.
Exactly, with all these interconnected parts.
Yeah, and how everything affects everything else.
Right. And he's considering all these factors like resource availability, time constraints, the long-term health of his plants.
Right. He's thinking about the big picture.
Yeah. And this systems thinking approach leads to solutions that are efficient, sustainable,
Yeah.
and adaptable.
Absolutely. It's a holistic perspective.
Yeah. And it reminds me of the principles of permaculture,
Oh, yeah.
which emphasizes creating self-sustaining ecosystems
Right.
that mimic natural patterns.
It's all about working with nature, not against it.
Exactly. And Ang's layered potting mix seems to embody that philosophy.
It does. He's using natural materials to create a system that supports the growth and well-being of his plants,
Right.
while also minimizing waste and environmental impact.
And this brings us back to the idea of problem solving, which is at the heart of both software development
Right.
and permaculture.
Both fields require a deep understanding of the underlying systems
Yeah.
and a willingness to experiment and adapt.
It's about identifying challenges, analyzing the available resources, and coming up with creative solutions.
Exactly, and Eng's blog post is a great example of how this problem-solving process can be applied to something as seemingly simple as creating a potting mix.
Right. But it's anything but simple
Yeah.
when you consider all the factors involved.
Yeah, he's really thought this through.
He has, and he's managed to create a system that addresses his specific needs and constraints.
And the fact that he's willing to share his process, his successes, and his failures is incredibly valuable for other gardeners.
It's a testament to the power of open source knowledge and the spirit of collaboration that exists within the gardening community.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what are some key takeaways for our listeners who are looking to apply these principles to their own gardening endeavors?
Well, I think the first step is to shift your perspective. You know, start thinking of your garden as a system with interconnected parts.
Okay.
Consider your resources, your climate, your soil, and the specific needs of your plants.
Right. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Oh, absolutely.
Try new things. Document your results. And adapt your methods as you learn.
Embrace the journey.
Exactly. Gardening is a continuous process of learning and discovery.
It is, and it's a journey best shared.
Oh, yeah.
Connect with other gardeners, exchange ideas, and learn from each other's experiences.
That's a great point. Gardening doesn't have to be a solitary pursuit.
It can be a wonderful way to build community and foster a sense of connection with nature and with each other.
Absolutely. And by embracing a problem-solving mindset and a systems-thinking approach, we can create gardens that are not only beautiful and productive,
Right.
but also sustainable and resilient.
Well said.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive into gardening with a software developer's twist.
My pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
I hope so too.
Happy gardening, everyone.
Happy gardening.